Hello. Well, welcome to my live stream. I have no idea what I'm doing. This is my first live stream and we'll see how it goes. What I want to try to figure out is how to use Photoshop to emulate oil painting techniques. So I have an illustration that I've started in pencil, tradigitally in Fresco, and I've moved it over to Photoshop and I want to paint here using the oil brushes. Fresco has a great digital media emulation toolset, and I think it can emulate oils way better, but I need to do very large files for illustrations, and so I'm experimenting with trying to get that same look in Photoshop. The digital emulator in Fresco allows you to kind of get a lot of those effects just through pen pressure and the angle of your stylus, but in Photoshop, you have to use a different brush for every kind of brush stroke, every kind of touch or sensitive smear or stroke. It's a different brush. So I'm trying to figure that out. I don't know what I'm doing. This is going to be a chaotic and kind of awful live stream, but hopefully together we can figure it out, and hopefully watching it will be fun for you. So let's take a look at what I'm working on. So this is the illustration, and you can see I started it out with kind of a pencil quality, and then I went ahead and painted in some sky as a background, and this has a fairly painterly quality to it. It was interesting trying to figure this out. And now we're going to see if we can apply this to the people part of this. So I did some grass, or started some grass. I need to add some more highlights in here, I think, across the bottom. And then I added in some trees. And these are really going to serve primarily as a backdrop for the characters. So I kind of want them to be tree and have some foliage qualities, but I don't really want them to be too detailed or stand out. If I bring back in the characters, very dark here, I filled in where the character is going to be just with some basic flesh tone, and so this kind of gives you an idea of the composition. Now these trees, remember, aren't actually this dark, but it's the pencil laying on top of the rest of it. So it's going to be kind of hard for me to monitor chat and everything all at once, but since no one knows I'm streaming, I'm basically streaming to no one, there's probably not going to be a whole lot of chat. So let's see what we can figure out. Now what I would like is I'm going to get this face to work. I had experimented with doing some basic color, but man, it was just not working out for me. There's lots of stuff going on here, lots of buttons to push in a stream, so bear with me. So I think I want to just kind of try again. Let me bring up a reference photo that I had. There we go. Now, one thing that I've seen a lot of people do is paint in a very traditional way. For digital anyway, is to just kind of use a normal round brush and just paint in with that. So I'm not super excited about that technique because I feel like it really isn't accomplishing what I want to accomplish. But after yesterday's experiment and seeing how that did not go well, I'm going to try it and see what we get. So I'm going to limit this layer. And I'm going to turn on this just a little. So I have a hint of what's going on, but not enough to really get in the way. And then we'll see if we can shade this in, see what it looks like. I kind of want to block in the colors. Just a little bit here. I'm going to lock this. Just going to go to a normal brush. See what we can do here. What I'm thinking is that I might need to add the brushstroke qualities that I want after. I should look up the finger command for how to change from clear to normal. I know it's Option Shift N for normal, but what is it for clear? Does anybody know? In some regards, maybe this is better results already. Yesterday was just such a struggle. I might want to do this on multiply. That way I can build up some real darkness. Oh yeah. Well, there's one improvement already. Now the light for this is coming in kind of over his shoulder. So I'm not really sure how that reflected light and the sun setting. Is going to work. Oh, Option Shift R. It's finger command. My reference photo, the light is coming more like this, and in this painting, the lighting is coming more like this. So, you know, the reference photo gives me a good idea, but and the reference photo is just a person, not a scowling, angry person. So there's something to that too. I really want to block out the big stuff and not get sucked in to these little details just yet. I need a little more paint. There we go. One thing that's I found that this photo really darkens it quite a bit and kind of changes my perception of the image a lot. I think I'm going to go back and forth between darks and lights. Until I really find what works. We're just layering this on so thin. I think I need to go back to multiply too. Yeah, there we go. That's better. Oh yeah. I have my keyboard kind of off to the side. which is a little weird in terms of accessing my finger commands. I don't like how that looks. There we go. It's a little better. All of this is really, in a sense, too dark and too muddy. You know, we really are going to need to go in and warm this up when the time comes. I kind of tried to start with a warm color to begin with, but it's really just not warm enough. It's just a really strong forehead shadow, which is fine. Kind of carving that in and out. I keep looking at the chat as if anybody's going to be chatting me, and no one knows I exist. But I wonder if this even shows me how many people are watching. Oh, there's 2 people watching. Yay! Hello, welcome. So, if you weren't here at the beginning, what I'm trying to do is figure out how to paint digitally, but make it look like it's oil painting. So, I was pretty successful with that back here, and trying to emulate the brush strokes of oil. You know, Fresco has great digital media emulation tools, but you know, those digital media emulation tools aren't available in Photoshop. And so in order to kind of make that oil painting look, man, you really have to change brushes like every 5 seconds. Every different kind of little stroke, every kind of little different look, a smear, a solid line, a textured line. It's a different brush. You got to constantly change brushes, which means you got to know your brushes really well. And you know, I don't. So I'm trying to discover this, trying to learn this, trying to figure it out, trying to share it with you. And this is my first live stream, so welcome and thanks for hanging around. And I'm trying to figure out how to get the look that I want of this kind of oil painting in the portrait. So I'm starting off here by just kind of laying in some tone and trying to make a portrait, which is kind of new. I've done it a lot in real paint, and I've done it a lot even in Fresco with the digital media emulator tools. I love watercolor in real life and digitally, but this kind of oil portraiture business, this is new, so kind of trying to figure it out. So I'll keep trying to watch and see if there's anything going on here. I'll start the conversation with hello. There you go. All right, so let's see. I'd be curious what kind of setups you all have, and what kind of painting that you're interested in. So see, I have a little photo here that I'm kind of taking some lighting cues from, although the lighting in the photo is actually really different from. So I got this really strong sunset lighting that's going to be coming off the back of his neck really here and lighting up this jawline. So I don't want to make this too dark, but there is, I think, going to be some shadow in here. And then it's going to have a real strong highlight on his cheek. Really dark shadows. Not everywhere else. My reference photo is not super angry, so I gotta kind of make up how that light would fall on the brows and things here. And before I got distracted with my exciting two viewers here, I was trying to block in some of this main lighting. Oops. Not sure how dark I want to go with this just yet. I think I want to kind of layer in to darkness. Just really light. I'm going to introduce my brush. There we go. Yeah. So I like the idea of having the side of the face really lit up. So I think I get in some of these shadows. I think the nose is going to cast a shadow, honestly. I feel like I'm being too timid. I feel like we just need to get some shadows in here. I think the light's coming in over his shoulder, so I think there's just going to be a harsh shadow here. Really, this side of his nose. Yeah. See, I like that up a lot better already. I mean, really we can make up whatever lighting we want. Turn this up a little so you can see That's kind of the look I'm going for. I want just enough of it there to hint at the structure, but I don't really want enough of it there for the tone of the pencil drawing to come through and mess up my ability to understand the tone of the paint that I'm adding. And I've also found that I end up on the wrong layer a lot, so I'm just going to lock that layer. So this is not at all how I wanted to do this painting. I really wanted to approach it from, because right now I'm doing it more like you probably have seen everybody else do digital illustration, but I really wanted to do it the way you would approach oil. And I tried that yesterday, and when I did that yesterday, I had really unsatisfactory results. It's almost embarrassing, but I'll show you. So I was trying to lay in tone, and man, it just did not work well. I was really not happy with the results. So, you know, I would love it if I could just paint like this and get this texture in the face and in the painting, but I don't know, that wasn't working. So either I don't have the skills, or we got to figure it out together how to make that look. But for now, I got to move forward, and I got to continue making progress and get this thing done. So I'm gonna start to lay it out with just a soft round brush, the way you've probably seen lots of other people do digital illustration, and then I'm gonna try to see if I can't figure out how to get that texture layered in after the fact. Now, there should be a really strong shadow here of his face. I'm not sure how that would fall exactly. Can't really see. There we go. Looks like I need more monitors. I got 1, 2, 3, 4 monitors, but apparently that's not enough. Yeah, so let's see. I said normally I would want to add shadow here because it feels like it's going around the corner, it's rounding over the back and the neck, and that would be dark, but it's going to be the exact opposite. My shadow is going to be up here and it's going to roll down over that clavicle and the shoulder. So my touch screen on this works half the time and doesn't work half the time. I don't like that. It should go in the line should go in the direction of the clavicle. So on one hand, it doesn't matter because I've got a lot more to do, but I'm going to try to come in here in the direction of the clavicle because there's going to be a highlight there where that catches the light. Oops. Got a hard brush instead of a soft brush. Let's undo that. Alright. I really want to get on with shading everything else because I feel like everything else will be easier than face. But you know, it's the face that's the real challenge, right? If I can't succeed in the face, then really the rest of the drawing is a failure. I mean, I guess I can't fail. I'm just like, the rest of the drawing would be an unfortunate learning experience. I don't want it to be just a big, long, unfortunate learning experience. I want to actually make a drawing that I can use and deliver for this illustration. So, you know, please feel free to introduce yourself in the chat. I'd love to know your names. I appreciate you guys hanging out with me and where you are in the world. It's cool to be able to be connected. I have to say, I'm not like super sociable normally. Normally I'm like the loner artist, but it is really cool to think that with a little bit of technology, we're kind of all in this together. There's usually a little indentation here. And this is really not how I had intended. To do this illustration, but it's coming along anyway, so at least we're getting there. Might be a little too dark. I mean, I guess I could lighten it up a little, see what happens, especially right in here. I don't mind if this is dark. Oops, too much. I think I'll just leave that for the moment and see what happens. And also, you know, some of this is being thrown off by this. Yeah. And I can use this blur tool and kind of, oops, that's not what I meant to do. Let's get a different blur tool. Let's try this. With way less strength. Yeah. I'm not sure I'm feeling that. I think I'm obsessing. Let's go back to normal painting. Is my mic picking up all right? You guys can hear me okay? You guys are silent. Silent observers. Well, it's fun having you with me, even if you don't talk back. Oops. Helps if I was actually in painting mode. There we go. Let's see his form here. He's not exactly buff, you know, but there would be some form to anybody's body. I think that's good. Need to see this a little bit more. Gotta unlock it, raise the opacity. There we go. Relock it again. Come back down here to paint. Got all this on the same layer so far, which is good. There is going to be some shadow here under the armpit, even though there's all this backlight. And I'm going to come back and add back in some highlights here, but I just want to first, I think, add just a little bit of three-dimensionality in the form. And there's also going to be, you know, there's going to be some shadow from his own arm. Now my reference photo doesn't include any of this, it's just a head. So I'm gonna have to make this part up. I don't know. I don't know if I like that at all. definitely let me darkness over here. I feel like I need to go take an anatomy lesson or something. What's going on? I don't know what a stomach looks like. I think I want to just kind of put all this in shadow. See, I think this is too tight. Let me just back this off a little. And that's really disgusting. It does not look right. But now I can paint it back in. Hopefully paint it back in the way we want it to look. I think that's better. Yeah. It's kind of blotchy right now, but we're going to get that fixed. Alright, so I had said I was going to add highlights to this, and then I never did. I kind of wanted to just feel my way around a little. Make sure I felt like something good was happening. It's easy to kind of, I don't know, get bogged down and then get distracted or discouraged. So plus I had to do something that made it look like I knew what I was doing. So I think for this hair, let me see his hair more. I think for the hair, I'm going to have it be a little dark underneath, but pretty much immediately it's going to catch lots of light, and then oops. Really kind of no wrong answer here. I mean, just kind of nice. I'm gonna up my percentage here a little and go darker faster. I never did really add in much shading on this cheek. I was afraid. Let's see. It's intense. Intense. That's kind of what I want, though. I mean, I want it to be intense. It's an intense image, really. See, I don't want to make this too dark over here because that's just not realistic with the lighting that I'm going for. Oops, see, I made like a dot on his nose. I don't want that. That's better. I'll have to figure out how this all kind of catches this. This light. I think I kind of just really screwed up that nose. Oops. I think I'll leave it like this for now before I get too crazy. You know, it's easy to get sucked in. I think. I think I'm gonna make that a little bigger. Come on. There. Seems like when I use undo with my pencil, it's less responsive and then I go too far. So there, something like that. Yeah. See, there's gonna be a really deep crease there. That's gonna be in shadow even though the light is coming from this side. Lips are always tricky because there's so much going on, especially angry mouth here. I don't want to make him smiling, for sure. is where the kind of the subtlety of the brush really comes in handy. I feel like I'm just dithering at it though. I'm kind of making it weird. So I think there's some stuff going on here with the eyes. I think it's gonna have a crease. And just kind of some generic, this kind of shadow comes in here. I don't like that. I mean, I realize it looks weird because he's got no eyebrows or anything yet going on. Plus, it could be just that I'm a terrible painter. But let's go ahead and switch over to some highlights and see what we can do. So I'm going to make a new layer for highlights. Go ahead and label this as shadows. I'm going to label it shadows 1, and this says bad oils. Oops. And this one is oils underpainting. Now you notice I have these grouped down to the cane image, so when I add this one, I want to make sure I do that. Let's Command Option G. So this is going to be highlights. I got so many monitors, I don't know what to look at here. Highlights. So let's see what we got. Oops. That's not what I meant to do. There we go. Back again. Okay, that was weird. I don't know what I did there, but we're back. What I wanted to do is see what this looks like. So that's not bad. Well, it's not great, but it's not as horrible as I thought it would be. So it's, in terms of the lighting, meeting up and matching with the lighting of the sun. Let me actually kind of backed out like this with the sun in view. Let's add a little more shading. So I don't want to get carried away with shading, but making it dark and moody is pretty awesome. Switch back to multiply mode. Option Shift M for that. Yeah. Cool stuff here. kind of want to leave this in light. I want to be able to really emphasize the fists. So that got a little weird right there. We can blend some of this out later, but I like to not have too many hurdles I have to overcome. So I'd like it to be kind of as alright as possible to begin with. I really like what's happening here, and I really wanted some light to come through from like behind, under his arm. Kind of light this up, and I'm guessing I'm gonna light up this too. So I'll switch. Kind of have to decide where the head shadow is going to kind of end for this. It's going to probably tail off. I mean, it's going to be really intense right there under the chin, but then probably tail off as it gets into kind of the more reflected light. Just going to keep switching back and forth between clear painting to act kind of as like an eraser, which is Option Shift R, and multiply painting, which is adding. There we go. I really want to highlight, yeah, how that connects right there. I'm not trying to make him super buff, but I do want him to look kind of brutal. Alright, so we've been doing that on the shadows layer, but I did want to add highlights. 7 o'clock already. Here anyway. What time is it where you are? It's alright. You don't have to tell me. Maybe it's just a glitch. Maybe you all aren't really there. And I'm actually just here talking to myself. I wouldn't be that surprised, because I mean, it's not like I'm that fascinating. I did not intend to make him have a mustache, but he does kind of look like that. What I'd like to do is see if I can get shading up under this lip. without just making it kind of flat. You know, I want to be able to catch light where I would catch light. And have it round over. Where it would round over. That's a little too much. I mean, too much is relative, I guess, because I haven't put in the highlights yet, and I think I'm going to end up going darker when I get ready to add the highlights in, but it'll probably be easier to know what I need if I haven't totally blown the thing out of the water in darkness. Well, this is already, I think, I'm feeling like I'm a lot better off than where I was yesterday. So, I mean, I know you weren't with me yesterday watching, but, and I just really struggled with it yesterday. I just really want to define this form. This form is like actually a bunch of flat shapes kind of that come together. Well, now I'm going to go ahead and lighten this up because I can. Not like that though, that's too much. Let's go really light. So this has nothing to do with the oil painting that I was trying to implement. I have to admit, this is just all soft round brush. So far. but I also had to work with, I guess what I felt comfortable with. And it just was not working out. With the brush that I'd intended to use. Well, sure, I'm not happy with this nose yet. I think we're going to get there. That might have just improved it a little bit. I think I get a little bit of a lag sometimes in my brush, which I feel like I should not have. But I guess that's not the tablet's problem. That didn't look good. Let's try this. There, that's a little better, I guess. Sometimes you get lost for the forest with the trees. Maybe too close in. Yeah. Let's skip ahead to some highlights. I feel like this is too intense. There. I don't know if I like that, but the beauty of this is, oops, definitely don't like that. Beauty of this is, you can just kind of keep working it back and forth in both directions until we get what we want. Let's see. Let's go on over here in our stream. We've only been live for an hour. So I keep talking about highlights. Let's move to highlights. So my highlights, I want to be warmer and I want them to be lighter. So far we've really been painting with only one color. I'm gonna move lighter and warmer, and even a little lighter. Let's see what this looks like. No, I didn't. Yeah, let's see what this looks like. So for the highlights, come on, there we go. What do we want to do for the highlights here? I think oops. I don't want to be on multiply. How did that happen? I want to be on maybe screen. Maybe I want to set the whole layer to screen. Yeah, that's really intense, huh? Oops. I'm gonna go down a little. Yeah, that's better. I think I want I don't know what I want. I definitely want some hard light. coming in some of these places, because that's just how it would be. And I want to go back to shadows and add a little more. Add a little more in here, because I should have kept my original shadow color. I didn't. But that's pretty close, I think. So, anyway, bummer for us. We have no original shadow color. But what I wanted to do I'm going to add some shadow. It's interesting because it doesn't matter how much shadow I add, it's not going to cover up those highlights because the highlights are on a layer above. So I can paint this to my heart's content. That's never going to overtake some of those highlights. Alright, so I'm back on the highlight level. Go back to the highlight color. What do we want to do here? You got to keep in mind our light source. Right now I'm not really worried too much about color temperature or anything. I really just want the lights and darks to be right. Let me see where this jawline is. Highlight this jawline, I think. One of the things I like about this Wacom tablet I can get in so close. I mean, it's just such high resolution, which is great. Oh, I have this on multiply. That is not what I meant to do. Thankfully I have many layers of undo. So let's put this on screen. This is why I'm here all night. Oh, see, I don't like that. Let's do a little clearing. Shouldn't be that intense. I don't think. Well, I'm down to one. It's just you and me. So now's the time to introduce yourself when there's nobody else around. Try to keep my eye on it over there in case you decide to say hello. I really feel like this looks kind of awful. But we need highlights in some fashion, somehow. Let me see what I got here. I really want this highlight to kind of blend into this highlight. I really want to be a strong highlight here. I don't know, maybe that's just too much. really think that there should be a very strong highlight right on the cheek here. Yeah, kind of like that. I mean, just really intense. Same with up here. I don't know, what do you think? Give me some feedback. Can I trick you into talking by giving me some feedback? I think that's cool. It's just out of context from everything else. I think if we get all the other highlights in, I think it's going to work. I think I'm feeling good. Let's go back to screen. I really like how we can clear this to dial it down. I think that works good. I think we need to kind of define the eyes a little bit, because otherwise we're going to be adding shading around something and we don't even know what we're adding it around because I don't have the eyes in there yet. So I'm just going to create a separate layer. And we just need to draw in some eyes. I mean, to really be with any color. I don't want to lose the colors that I've already got cooking here. Let's see. I guess I have them saved up here in my swatches, so I guess it doesn't matter. Hello, welcome. Thank you for joining us. Feel free to say hello and what country you're from. Let's see what I had for eyes to begin with. You know, I might not need to define them any more than that. I might be able to just leave them with the pencil drawing kind of showing through and see if we can't use that. That way that'll save us from having to draw anything over again, because we've already drawn it. So I don't need this eyes layer. Go ahead and throw that in the trash. We just need to figure out what we're doing with the eyes and how we're going to shade around them. So I guess I'll leave that layer on, that eye layer on for now. And we can go into the shadows layer. And we'll go up to multiply mode, which is Option Shift M. And let's see if we can't draw these eyes in a little bit. That's the nice thing is the Wacom tablet. I can get in there really close and take a look at what I got. And this highlights layer, switch the highlights color, switch the screen, Option Shift S. I'm going to put in just a little highlight here and on the outside. Of this eye. I mean, this is going to catch light here, and what's cool about doing these on separate layers, honestly, is that one is not obliterating the other. So just because I put some highlight in, I'm not losing my shadows. I have to say, it is a lot harder to tell what the heck's happening with that pencil drawing turned on, because the pencil drawing is so intense. I have my opacity turned down so low, which makes it really hard to mess up, but also makes it hard to do anything. And turn it up a little bit. Let's try 30. See how much more intense that is. Kind of feeling it. I was a little discouraged after yesterday's total disaster. Of time spent doing this. I mean, I just did not really accomplish anything. Well, literally, I basically accomplished nothing. I mean, everything I did, I had on one layer, and I turned off today. So, yeah, I mean, I literally accomplished nothing. So I'm kind of alternating the intensity of my opacity. Man, I'm gonna go in here and get rid of some of this with the clear function. I'm gonna keep this. I want that little bit of highlight. I want a little bit of light in there, but I want to keep it dark too. At the same time. Alright, now I can go back in with screen. I'm going to kind of follow the nose down. And I have been kind of trying to keep the highlights smooth. But I kind of like the texture of the highlights at this point, because I feel like it's actually kind of making it feel like there's a little bit of sweat, a little bit of intensity. Really want I don't think I want that. That's not what I want. That's not what I really want. See, I can carve this out. And if I don't care for it exactly as I've done it, I can use that screen and bring it back, tone it down. See, like that needs to be toned down. So go to screen, let's go a little bigger. I kind of wanted it to catch some light, but I don't. I want him to be disgruntled and furrowed and wrinkled up, but I don't want it to be like crooked and weird looking. I'm going to go back to 30%, and I'm just going to plow in some highlight here, some serious. This is where it's nice to be on a separate layer. I just want some serious highlight right here. I'm going to even go with a hard brush. Not even rounded. I just want this to be really catching the light. Oh, let's come back in with a brush. That's soft. Because I'm not crazy, but sometimes it feels that way. Let's come in with the clear on a hard brush and clear out some stuff. I want that to be on a soft brush. Oops, brush tool. Yeah. Up my efforts here. We're gonna go back to screen, go to 3%, and let's see. Let's put in some bright highlight on this nose. Looks a little risky, but it's not really because I can always erase it. See, awful. But you didn't know until you do it. So let's see. I would like to get something going on over here. We're catching. I just want to catch a little light. I don't even know where that light is coming from because that really doesn't make a whole lot of sense. But I just want a little highlight over there, I think. Maybe I need to zoom out and see what's happening in the big picture. Yeah, that doesn't look good. I don't think that highlight looks good either. I really thought it would, but it really doesn't. I do want some kind of a highlight here though. Maybe it just needs to be more subtle, like that. Same with up here. I know. Just kind of Just hitting it a little, catching it a little, very little. You know, I'm at 30%, so maybe I just need to be like it. Yeah, there we go. I'm gonna hit this lip. Yeah. Let's hit some highlight on this lip. Kind of define these forms a little bit before they kind of wrap back around in the shadow. Part of it is that's too much. Take it back. So, you know, I can use this clear function and just drop a little shadow back on the lips. I kind of like what I got going on there. I think I want a little more highlight though on the top of the lip, just a little to make that pop. So I would have not thought I was going to spend my night doing self-drawn brush the whole night. That was not my intention for this evening. I can tell you that. This is not at all kind of the look I was going for originally. But it's kind of working for me now. So I'm going to run with it for the moment. And then I still want to go back to trying to figure out how to paint it so it looks like it's in oil. I mean, that was the original goal. And I think that's still a worthy goal. don't know why that's not working. I guess it is. Are my highlights covering it up? Oh, it is. Okay, so that means I need to take the highlights back a little bit right there. With some clear action. It's gonna have to be subtle to blend in. So let's do with something like this and something a little bigger. Let's get in here with this eye. I'm going to do that right on the highlights layer, maybe. Probably shouldn't. I probably should stick to just adding the highlights around the eye, which is what this layer is supposed to be for. When I'm painting on this with such a small percentage, it's hard to tell like what's even happening at the time. But I like, is anything happening? Or I like to have a little bit more control and go a little more subtle. It's okay to build it up. I think. For me, anyway. I'd like to get more highlight. Up on the face here. But I also don't want to make it too pretty. Like it's kind of supposed to be gritty and raw. A little bit intense. You know? I don't know. At least that's what I think I'm going for. So let's try these eyes. Let's make a new layer. Let's do it. Eyes. Now I've already got so much cool shading there. I might put it underneath the shadows and just kind of see what happens. Let's just pull, I don't know, let's pull a kind of a warmish gray. I don't know. And let's just paint in. Yeah, I can't even see it. Let's move it up and see what it looks like. Oh, you know why I can't see it? It's because it's on like 1%. There we go. That's some color right there. See that? I'm on like a kind of a delay. This streaming business must be taxing to my system, I guess. I wasn't expecting that. Well, these eyes are kind of big, kind of intense. So let's see now that I got them colored in, if I can drop them in under there. See, I can. I can indeed. It's interesting. Kind of like it. Just like that. Kind of weird, but I do. So let me see. Let's what do we want to do to this? Let's bring it down and warmer. Maybe a little downer and warmer. And man, let's lock transparency and let's shade this eyeball. I'm in painting and screen at the moment, which I don't want to do. I'm just going to paint in normal. Ooh, that's intense. Let's go like 1%. There. Yeah, I mean, the sun is setting, and there's light coming. Let's try to multiply. Let's get really crazy. Yeah, man. There's I should have totally done this on its own layer. I think we're good though. I think we're gonna wow, that's messed up. Let's go back to one of these colors I had a second ago. And let's go multiply. See if I can kind of fix that a little bit. There. Now, let's get the eye. What color do you want to do the eye? My one friend. What color do you want to do the eye? Obviously, it's going to be brown. Let's do a really intense. I'm going to do like a... Man, I think I'm going to do it on its own layer. Let's do a... do it on normal. And let's do it on... Maybe I'll multiply. And yeah, that turned out surprisingly good. Let me label it as eyeball. Probably gonna make it both eyeballs here in a minute, but let's go back to brushes, see what brush we're using. I think I'm gonna use a solid brush. I don't think I like that. I think I'm gonna not do that. For one thing, I meant to do it on its own layer, and I didn't. That's what I made this layer for. That's for people, so that I wouldn't screw it up. And I screwed it up anyway. So let's try it again. Now on the people layer. Way darker, way more intense. I really want him to be kind of looking out of from under his eyelids, just with like an intensity and a rage. Actually, I mean that's what this picture is about, is rage. So I almost want to do this with the ellipse tool, but that would be all wrong, especially since I'm trying to ultimately emulate something that looks like an oil painting. It can't be that perfect. Not ellipse tool perfect. So I have my brush. I have my layer on multiply. Let's put the brush on multiply also. Which would be Option Shift M. I'm gonna turn off this touch. It's driving me crazy. You know what I might do, just to make this a lot easier, is just turn on transparency lock and then kind of color in from the outside, because I kind of want some intensity here, which I'm not really feeling. Intensity that I want, which is kind of weird considering I got such a dark. Oh, you know why? It's because it's under the pupil. The pupils are under the highlight layer. Ta-da! Now it's as dark as night. But of course that's no good. So let's go back to normal and just bring this back a little bit, because that was too intense. I could not figure out why that was not getting darker. I was like, we're going darker and darker and it's not working. See, now it's like way too dark. It's like weird. But let's play with it and see what we got. We can always lighten it up. And obviously we're going to add some highlights to it. So let's go Option Shift M, which is back in normal mode. And I'm going to go small. And put in some ray flex, which kind of total waste of time because nobody can see him. Let's switch over to maybe screen and see what happens. Not much. Not much. Let's go bigger. There. Kind of weird. I don't know. I don't know if I like it or not. It's weird, I have to say. It's definitely weird. Did you guys know you can do well, I gotta be in out of my brush tool, but did you know you could just go like Command Option plus and it kind of like scrolls through these options? I use this all the time, like every day. None of these options look very good. Oh, that's crazy. And of course, keep in mind we don't have. I think this just generally is terrible, honestly. Let's try a little digital wizardry on it. I'm gonna bring up the. I guess you can't see it. Let me move it over so you can see it. There it is. Let's try this on it. There, see, that's maybe better. I didn't colorize it. Colorizing it does weird things. I guess that's alright. I'm not feeling it though. It's too dark. right in here. It kind of looks good on the stream screen up there. What do you guys think? You think it looks good up there? I feel like I'm talking to myself. You guys gotta talk back. You gotta give me some chat. I'm honored that you're watching though. Let's see. Let's go to what do I want to do? Let's do some. You want to do a little burn? Let's burn the shadows. I think I like that. What I don't like, let's go to dodge. What I don't like is this dark area down here. So let's dodge out that a little bit. If I want to dodge more, I'm going to have to change to midtones. Or even yeah. You know, part of the weirdness of this is that we didn't put the actual pupil in. I mean, I realize I labeled this pupil, but it's not really the pupil, it's, what do they call that? The iris. So put in the pupil will probably look cooler. And also the shading on this is so strange. Let's fix that. Whoa. I guess I'm gonna have to fix it in a different way, because that way didn't work. It just got weird. Let's zoom out of this thing. Let's see what we got, first of all, because we could be getting a little myopic. You know, I mean, the reality is, when it's like that, who can even tell we're obsessing? We're spending like 30 minutes on something that no one can even see. So I mean, I guess let's not be realistic. Let's not be ridiculous. I mean, we're so zoomed in here that anything we're doing is going to be looking amazing. So I do think it needs some more shadow in there though. And we need to add the actual. So let me relabel this as retina. No, what did we decide it was called? Iris. Wow, my duration just went. Oh, okay. I was gonna say it went to 0. Does that mean I stopped? All right. So there's Iris. It looks like you're still with me. So what we're gonna do? Oh, we're gonna make a pupil. So for this, let's just get some straight darkness. I don't normally use straight black, but I think it's safe to use straight black for this. What do I want to do? I guess it would help if I was using a paintbrush. That's intense. I guess that's why I don't normally use straight black, because I don't know that looks good. It looks like a weird dark hole. Dark hole of death. Alexa, turn down the opacity a little bit. Oh gosh. Oh no. That doesn't look like it's doing anything, is it to you? It's very faint, huh? Why is it so faint? Oh, our layer's on. Oh yeah. Let's put it at 100%. Let's put this on clear. You know, when you have refracted light going through something, the highlight is actually going to be on this side. And there would be a dark spot kind of here. And that would also go for the actual whole thing. Let me merge these down. Command E. Oh, it's not going to merge because they're not together. I would have to put it as part of the group, and then I should be able to merge it. There it goes. And then I can also do a little screen action. Are you guys feeling this? I'm going to put in a little reflected light. Notice I'm not even using white, it's just like whatever color I happen to have over here. It should be fine, unless I'm like totally crazy, but I think it'll work. Yep. And then I think I'm just going to add some crazy color. Yeah, look at that, man. This it's like singing. I also like that now what's weird is that this is like really sharp and in focus and everything else is like fuzzy and with no focus, so we're gonna have to address that, or this isn't gonna work. Presumably you guys can see that and you're pointing and laughing at the current state of affairs. Let me add just like a crazy highlight right here. Like, I don't even know, just something intense. Like, oops, that didn't work. Why did that not work? I was excited. I was going to be like super intense and then it didn't work. Okay. Normal mode, everything's on normal. Here we go, try it again. I'm going to go actually 80%. Oops. Paint and white. Now we go to 100%. Almost never use pure white for anything. And I want that sun to be part of this. So let's get these like just ridiculous colors. Yeah, I'm not ready to do that yet. I'm gonna add some ridiculous colors later. You know, honestly, this little dot business is really something that comes from photography, where you have a point light source like a flash, and this person is outdoors, and I don't think that that would be real, but I'm gonna leave it in there for now because I think it really makes it look three-dimensional, and I think people are so used to that look that I almost feel like it needs to be there. Now I want to go ahead and merge this stuff down because I got too many layers going on. I think I'm going to add another layer of new shadows. I'm just going to line in this eyeball with some dark brown. I don't know what brown I want to use. Really what I want to use is a brown in the painting, so let me just eyedropper this real dark brown, and then that's always a safe bet. You can't like go wrong when you eyedropper something out of your own painting because it's a color that's already working, and yeah, I mean it's not going to clash because it's already in your painting. That last little bit didn't work. The rest of it I thought looked good. So let's switch over to soft round for in here. And just, yeah, there we go. Oops. Yep. Now let's come in here with some bold shadow. Too much. Actually, it's not too much. It's just actually not bold enough. Let me turn up the percentage. Yeah, I mean, man, this stuff's got to be bold right here. I mean, this is going to be so small. No one's even going to hardly see it, but these little details will really, I think, make this come together. I think this needs to be even bolder. I'm at 40% right now. Let's go up to 60. And then what's cool is that we've actually left ourselves some wiggle room because we haven't gone into full black yet. So, and I almost never do, but this is going to allow us to come in here and add some real dark darks for the eyelashes and stuff like that. Now, if I wanted to go like super crazy, I want to go super crazy. I could add tons of little highlights and shadows, kind of like, so I'm on this layer right now. I could go put this down under here. I guess I would need a, I guess I'm on a highlight layer in theory. I said I was going to add more highlights and shadows. So what I could do is, watch this, take a hard brush, go back to my highlight color that I was using earlier, let's put it on screen, Option Shift S, and then get in here really tiny and paint little highlights on top of these darks. But I think this would make me lose my mind if I tried to do this too much. And honestly, I think it's not going to end up looking like an oil painting. It's going to end up looking like a photograph. And I don't want it to look like a photograph. So, you know, there's that. Let's what do we want to do next? I might let's try to add some eyelashes. you know, I think before I get too angry at myself, I'm just going to go ahead and put them on their own layer, because if they suck, then I can get rid of them. Thankfully, brush am I using? Yeah, hard brush. Thankfully, you can't really see them that much. And while we're in here, I suppose could add the eyebrow. Oh, I kind of want to be like this. Well, that looks awful. Oh, you know why it looks awful? Because I did the wrong thing. I meant to do this. Blink. There we go. I just wanted to tone this down a little, so it wasn't like a big unibrow. There, I think. And I think we're coming along. I think we're coming along indeed. I just got a lot more to do. But, you know, I think it's coming along. There's something weird going on with his nose. We'll have to figure that out. But, man, it's almost 9 o'clock here. So, I don't know where you guys are originating from. But I thank you for hanging out with me and watching for so long. I'll probably do this for sure every Wednesday night at about this time. And possibly Tuesday night and Thursday night too. I will likely be doing this tomorrow at the same time. So if you want to come back, we'll make a little more progress and we'll see what we can get done. Thanks. Have a good night.